Today I'm going to tier rank 44 autism memes into 3 levels with a special bonus boss tier at the bottom for those epic memes. You know the kind I mean.
AUTISM, autism, don't be scared of me.
That sort of thing. It goes into the pathologically overzealous oversharing, or poo tier. And where's the poo tier? At the bottom, of course. Our other tiers today will keep the theme and go from level 1 to level 3. These memes are taken from the Feral Memes channel of the Discord community by Nina the Tea Fairy. Anyway, I'm Mike, a late identified autistic adult, and this cat is basically me, especially during those interview questions. So tell me about yourself. There was one time that I was invited up onto stage to speak at a cybersecurity event, and the host had each speaker introduce themselves. Why would you do that? That's possibly the worst question you could ask an autistic person. In fact, while we're here, in 2 days' time, I will be joined by Pierre Novellie, the comedian and author of this book, Why Can't I Just Enjoy Things? It's on Tuesday, details in the description below. But suffice to say that I'm tempted to start our conversation off with, so tell me more about yourself. And we can all become buffering cats together. Aliens returning me 15 minutes after my abduction. Poor Ralph. I've seen a few variations of the throwing out the window meme, and it's usually to do with talking about some niche passion or special interest for hours and hours and just boring your captors to the point where they just throw you back home through a window. That's my escape plan anyway. Just talk about the history of cheese or something. Now, this gem comes from one of my favourite subreddits, Are the NTs OK? And it's clearly a relic from Twitter, or X as it's now called. Adulthood is realising that the high school bully is the good guy. He served as a bulwark, that's like a paladin, against degenerate antisocial behaviours and enforced normality. He's fighting against enforced normality? That would make him a paladin, wouldn't it? I don't think that's what they mean. It's not a coincidence that society started going downhill when anti-bullying campaigns started being enforced in schools. I'm not sure. I mean, if we say society's going downhill, I'm not sure. Anti-bullying campaigns, what? What? Are they really that effective? What's going on? Now, this is Biff from Back to the Future, and thinking that Biff is the good guy, that's like one of the weirdest takes imaginable. Now, Biff isn't enforcing anything. He's a super selfish character whose power relies entirely on threats and physical force. And one of the best parts about watching the Back to the Future trilogy is watching him get what he deserves. That's what makes the character funny, and it's not someone that anyone would want to be like. But the 3 movies anyway, they're fabulous. They've got loads of practical effects from a time before all this ubiquitous CGI. When Nina and I met, she hadn't actually seen these films, so getting all 3 movies binged early on is the order of the day. There you go. Come for the memes, stay for the relationship advice. Hang on a second, we haven't actually tiered them. So buffering cat, instant top tier, level 3. Sorry, it just is. Ralph, I don't know, level 2, I guess. There's a little bit of advice there in case you get kidnapped. And the weird bullying take, I'm not even going to rate it. It doesn't even qualify for the poo tier. So, if it's hard to tell that a high-functioning, autistic child is on the spectrum, pat the parent on the back. Lots of tears, time, research, repetition, and tantrum battling went into that. I don't even know where to start here. I mean, pat the parent on the back? What if the parent's autistic? I don't know if they're like that. There's a picture here of some dude who looks a little like me after reading needlessly pathologizing nonsense about autism, and there's a lot of it out there. They also said high-functioning autistic child rather than child with autism. That we often see online, this boy with autism, child with autism, as though autism is an appendage or disease rather than a different neurotype. The NHS page on autism says being autistic does not mean that you have an illness or disease. It means your brain works in a different way from other people. And as for tantrum battling, I know it can be frustrating to deal with someone, like a child, who's having an irrational emotional outburst. But autistic meltdowns, often confused for tantrums, need a different approach to deal with them. It's support that's needed, not control and compliance. It's not like fighting some battle. I made a video about this earlier when an internet psychiatrist conflated the two and even dipped into functioning language like low and high functioning, and we don't use those terms anymore either. Anyway, that goes into the poo tier. Looking forward to another week where all the stuff I want to accomplish depends on a sense of self-discipline and executive functioning I've never once possessed in my life. Relatable, and it reminds me of Mike Tyson, who once said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. That's how it feels. So solid metaphor here. We'll go, I don't know, tier 1, 2, 3? Where would you put it? I don't know, I think I'll put it in tier 1. Punched in the mouth, tier 1. When you're anxious, follow the 3-3-3 rule. If you name 3 things that you see, 3 sounds that you hear, and then move into the woods for 3 years, it's supposed to help calm you down. The full forest retreat. Nothing says anxiety relief quite like becoming a hermit and letting the squirrels do your taxes. That's going to go into level 2. Although, let's say 3 years, right? By the time you get through to like year 2, you know you've only got a year left, and then you might start worrying about having to go back into society. So the latter part of that might be a bit ruined for you. But yeah, okay, do the 3-year retreat, that'd be good. Garfield phone. So I've got a man here with a Garfield phone going, go to hell. Clonk with his Garfield phone. I've got a duck phone. I did a video about why Autistic AF hates phone calls. I think it's worth watching. I'll link it below. If your boss tells you your team at work is like family, that means you can scream, "You're not my real mom," and storm out every time they ask you to do anything. Now this one's really funny because it's partly true. It's one of my red flags for job interviews or talking to people about their work. The only people who talk about work being like a family are those in charge who want to abuse staff and get them to do more than they're actually contracted and obligated to do. Work is not a family, and colleagues are not necessarily your friends. You can be friendly without being friends. You hear this stuff spouted from CEOs quite often. Stephen Bartlett from Diary of a CEO even does the pizza party meme. So does Dave Ramsey. And I've worked in many offices that expected staff to work late and weekends at no extra pay. It's all right, don't worry everyone, the boss has bought pizza for everyone. It'll be like a pizza party. Yay! Because $100 of pizza is so much cheaper than, scheduling staff respectfully and paying them for their time. Where would you put this one? Into tier 3 it goes. For me, tier 3. Okay, sorry, hot button topic for now, but I promise that there will be content on this. And if you're new, and about half of you haven't stimmed the subscribe button, give it a squeeze. Let's continue. Everyone should thank me because as bad as I am holding myself back from being much worse. Yeah, why isn't there a clear social reward for autistic people for just fitting in? It sometimes feels like everyone else took the elevator ride up to the 12th floor, but I had to just take the stairs all the way to just even start my day. Anyone else relate? I'm putting it in tier 1. Oh, this looks like an ADHD meme. Where did I put it? I put it down carelessly, I forgot where. I set it in a special place, I forgot where. And before anyone drops AirTags in the comments, I have a Leatherman Wave that Nina bought me for my birthday, and it has an AirTag on it because I kept misplacing it. Now both it and its AirTag are lost. They're somewhere at home, but I haven't found it in months. I put it in a tier, but I can't remember which. Another ADHD meme. The ADHD urge to use parentheses in every sentence because every thought comes with additional bonus content. I love that. Bonus DLC, I'll think about it that way. Extra value. I often say I explain it in 3 sentences, but then I use a lot of semicolons and parentheses. It is going into tier 2, this one. Oh, shower meme. I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to. I live here now. This is my life now. Yeah, this one's really common. I'm fortunate that I really like water, but I can see how it's a real problem for transitions, changes to routine, anxiety about water, and sensory overwhelm. I'm not really sure where to put this one. Let's go into tier 1, only because it's not that funny. Me. Can I have some dopamine? Brain. Dopamine machine broke. Me. How about some serotonin? Brain. Serotonin machine broke. It's like the ice cream machine at McDonald's. Me. Well, what do you have? Brain. Here's one line of the Full House theme song that you're going to think about for 3 hours straight. Yeah, especially during exams or when I need to sleep or when I need to focus or concentrate on something. It's really difficult. Usually when somebody puts me on the spot and asks me a question I didn't expect. Tier 1 though, I can't believe I'm supposed to take care of my whole body. It's too many moving parts. I can't keep up. You're telling me an F1 car gets a pit crew and I get one jackass with ADHD. Wake me up in the future when parts can be replaced easily and at home without speaking to anyone. I would probably be at least half cyborg. Tier 2. Metallic hat, sleeps with one eye open, gripping its pillow tight. No tear, but just some kisses on its little heavy metal nose. when you're spreading individual autism awareness and you get narky little hater who gets on their high horse about using the puzzle piece or using words like Asperger's, high functioning, low functioning. This is about my son's story, not your sad snowflake feelings. This is a terrible take. I'm not sure what's more offensive, the grammar and the face filter, the puzzle pieces, just symbolic of pathologizing. Just put here with little colourful puzzle pieces, corn pieces in it. Moving on. Are you made of gold, titanium, sulfur and carbon? Because you're looking a little autistic. Get it? Level 2 without the cat, I think. Level 3 with the kitty. Nice. Nice meme. I like it. Chemistry meme. Very good. My colleagues refuse to say autism because she thinks labels aren't helpful. I'm being a petty a-hole, what's asshole about it. I think she's starting to get the point. Me. Do you have an ink-filled writing implement which utilises a rollerball tip? Her. You mean a pen? Labels aren't helpful, Stephanie. Tier 3. I told a few people close to me that I was pursuing an adult autism assessment, and you're expecting one response, but you get a different one. You're expecting a response which is like, why do you feel that way? How do you, blah, 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 how do you think it will help? But it's like, that's not useful for you. So what? Like, what, even if you are autistic, what does that even mean? Why would you want to know? Why do you need a label? Yeah, exactly. A TikTok was circulating claiming that turmeric powder helps remove fleas, and people tried it. Turns out it does work, but it also dyes your cat yellow. Size of bees this year. Okay, look, it lacks autism, but as we all know, cats are autistic, so tier 1. Wish they made thought-cancelling headphones. Yeah, me too. Actually, if noise-cancelling headphones actually existed and cancelled out the noise at the source, like some sort of magic remote control, that would be amazing. And while you're at this wizarding shop, could you also get me the magic wand that Hagrid uses? I think it switches off lights. Someone invent this, please. It can be powered by batteries or autism. I don't care. Just take my money. Tier 1. Oh, another headphone meme. I love these alien creatures in the comics by Nathan Pyle. They're so relatable. English-speaking aliens come to Earth and then we see things through their eyes. Really simple, everyday, boring things, but seen from a completely different perspective. And that's how so many of us feel as well. This means I'm biased towards giving it a tier 3, but we'll see if it earns it. You should know these are sound abolishing. Oh. But I can remove them to hear crucial information. Okay. What about inconsequential banter? Sometimes I want to disengage from it. How will I know? Oh. Mwah. Tier 3. Imagine all the people. Me. Ugh. Tier 3. Don't ask, it just is. Hey, hi, how are you? Fine. What's you doing? Nothing. How was your day? Fine. I'm surprised this was so short. Has anyone tried playing the small talk game to see how long you can keep it going? I've managed nearly a whole minute before at the post office. What's your score? This one is going into tier 2. Just a polite, tall Dutch guy at the concert. His shirt just says, sorry. And then at the bottom it says, I should get this shirt too. I'm not tall, I'm just generally disappointing to people. How do we know he's Dutch, by the way? It's written in English, but he could easily be British or maybe even Canadian. But then it would probably say, sorry, eh? Go touch grass. No, bro, I'm 75% water. Water is weak to grass types. Didn't you play Pokemon? The meme's super effective, but tier 1. This Alice in Wonderland meme. In me, if I was Alice, the Cheshire Cat says, we are all mad here. Alice, at me. Now, quick primer on RSD. RSD stands for Rejection, Sensitivity, Dysphoria, which is an intense emotional reaction at the perception of rejection, criticism, I guess, failure, maybe? It's more to do with other people, I think. But it's not actually an official diagnosis. You can't get an RSD assessment. But if you find that you're being often overwhelmed with the feelings of rejection, which it can be perceived, I mean, neurodivergent people are often conditioned to notice rejection. We see it quite often. It's part of the package of being different, after all. And if you feel profoundly uneasy, then you might have RSD. Even small criticisms can feel like personal devastation. It's irrational and can make social interactions, receiving feedback or jokes, feel sort of emotionally risky, if that makes sense at all. This is kind of how I felt when I was at school, when I was a younger person. As an adult, I sort of process things differently now. I don't just immediately assume that people are doing something because they don't like me or they're trying to exclude me, right? So this meme, I feel, kind of captures that kind of RSD thought spiral. Like, even if somebody makes a neutral or even kind statement, an RSD brain instantly translates it into, oh no, they secretly hate me. But if I were Alice, I would be more concerned by the teleporting talking cat. Combining a classic novel with a famous phrase with RSD, what a taste combination. Tier 3. As a child, I never realised Winnie the Pooh's friend Piglet was wearing a jumper. I always interpreted it as some kind of segmented carapace. You mean it's not a segmented carapace? I mean, I'm with the poster of this comment. It's definitely not a jumper. Maybe a swimsuit? I don't know, tier 1. It's not really an autism thing. Tier 1. How good is your pattern recognition? Supposed to be a hand holding the inverted heart of another heart, but what do I know? It's a bit like one of those Rorschach ink blot tests, where they try and go, what do you think this is? Yeah. Anyway, I don't think it's an autism thing. It's kind of amusing, if you get it. Tier 1. Tries to learn someone's name. Brain. No, we're at capacity. Me. With what? Brain. Angela, Pamela, Sandra and Rita. Me. Those aren't real people. Those are the Mambo No. 5 lyrics. Brain. A little bit of my life. Me, please stop. Brain. The trumpets. Tier 2. ADHD. Doing brain laundry. Separating my thoughts into lights and darks. Update. Left one dark thought in with the lights. Ruined the whole load. Brain laundry, if only that were possible. Don't forget to check the pockets first. There's nothing worse than finding an old existential crisis mixed in with things that you said in high school. Maybe it's just me. Tier 2. My phone just auto-corrected trauma dumping to trauma dumpling. So I painted this in case anyone would like a visual of my mental state. How's everyone else doing? And there's a trauma dumpling with a couple of googly eyes. I wonder if the trauma dumpling is filled with emotional cabbage. Get it? Okay, I'll get my coat. When people say video games make you violent, but you're too scared to click the rude dialogue option because you don't want to hurt the NPC's feelings. In my plushies video, I talked about emotional hyperempathy, and this definitely extends to characters in games and on TV too. I can't watch if the cat or dog gets hurt, and that means I still haven't seen John Wick. I'm currently playing Baldur's Gate 3 on a Dark Urge run. It's kind of therapeutic. And if you know what that is, drop a comment in the description below with your favourite class and why. Tier 2. Give a man a fish, just because it's a nice thing to do. But the fish is dead! No! Give him an alive fish and let him start a fish family would be better. I don't know, tier 1 maybe. How would you describe yourself? Verbally, but I've also prepared a dance. It's mostly jazz hands and some existential dread, but it really comes together in the end. Tier 2. Many top scientists are on the autism spectrum. So technically, autism causes vaccines. Plot twist. That's the thing, right? So there are a great many autistic researchers, but they're not working on autism research. They're working across all the fields that interest them. A niche, special interest or passion that society tolerates and rewards because of its useful output. Maybe that's just me being cynical. Imagine if every autistic person went on strike. Server farms across the planet going down, no niche historical documentaries, no perfectly organised insect collections. I don't know. Honestly, it would be chaos. Tier 3. Another vaccine one. Autism doesn't exist, and it's caused by vaccines. Sometimes the conspiracy theorists just confuse themselves. Does your child line up their toys? This means your child may have challenges expanding their play skills. Fuck off, it doesn't mean that at all. To help develop their play, switch up their playing style by interrupting their routine. Engage in pretend play by creating different scenarios. And lastly, to prevent your child from lining up their toys, place them in bin, bucket, drawer. Yeah, do that. Stop your child from playing with their toys by putting them in bin. That's exactly where this set of hot, stinking garbage should go. Sorry, Jennifer, it isn't polite, but it does go straight in to the poo tier. Got Winnie the Pooh here with Piglet and his carapace. I love honey, but you know what I don't love? Sticky fingers. I hate having sticky hands, and it's also really disturbing shaking hands with someone who has clammy, fleshy, paddy hands. Wash your hands, people. Tier 3. Wash your hands. Life's simple pleasures. The sound of a soda can opening. Petting a stranger's dog. Removing your human disguise and warm towels. Sometimes masking all day can feel like removing your human suit once you get home. And who doesn't like a warm towel? We keep ours on top of the radiator in the bathroom. Warm towels are the best, tier 2. Rumours I'm an alien are greatly exaggerated. From Very British Problems on Twitter. Well, it's actually from the Feral Memes channel on our Discord server, but you know what I mean. How to answer a phone. 1. Stare at it until it stops ringing. 2. Text, sorry, did you just call? If person immediately rings again after step 2, consider blocking number. I've got a better idea. It's called ask a friend to record you a voicemail pretending that you're a cattery in a rescue centre, and it sounds something like this.
Hello, you've reached Cat Rescue. If you're interested in adopting a cat, please see our website for details on available cats. Unfortunately, everyone is busy at the moment. Please call back later.
And honestly, nobody calls back. It's not the 1990s anymore, and unless you're specifically answering phones for work, and even then it might not be the best use of your time, then you don't owe anyone your attention on answering phone calls. There's literally nothing that's so important that a text message or an email won't suffice. My friends know this, and it's why I will answer if they call, but then they don't call, and that's that. So what tier does this mean go into? I would say tier 2, but with my life hack, it's tier 3. It's S tier. This would fix me. Autism steamroller. But I don't see any steam. It's also probably less than $50 of materials that I bet they ship flat packed to you. And it's $799. It better include free stimming fidgets, noise cancelling headphones, just a lifetime supply of stimming fidgets for that amount of money. Obviously, it's just super expensive. Otherwise, it's just an overpriced weighted blanket with rollers. Buy a weighted blanket, they're much better. There you go, consumer advice from this channel. Not sponsored, but buy a weighted blanket. So what tier then? I can see how this would be useful, but for selling an overpriced therapy for a disorder, poo tier. What is the polite word for an autistic person? People with a learning disability. Look, there's nothing against people with learning disabilities or intellectual disabilities or people with mental health struggles, but autism is not a learning disability. Autism is not an intellectual disability, and autism is not a mental health condition. It needs repeating nice and loudly and often, and I'm definitely repeating myself. I'm so sorry if you've had to listen to me say this before. Poo tier, no question. Or what is this? Gross. 5 things you should know about my son. He's my prince. He has autism. Please be understand. Please be understand. I'm just going to stop right there. It doesn't even qualify for poo tier. Non-autistic people designing autism awareness merchandise go, yeah, the perfect colour palette. And this is so true. Why is it always this horrendous primary colour palette? It's usually the mums, no shade, but there's definitely some plastering these clashing overstimulating colours everywhere from a certain group online. And it's like they think being aware means using every colour in the crayon box at maximum saturation. And let's not forget, it's all over some emergency vehicles in the United States too, as part of autism awareness for Autism Speaks. Vibrant reds, blues, yellows, greens, basically a sensory nightmare on wheels. It signals a real lack of empathy, as ironically, so many autistic people actually struggle to process these bright mismatched colours because they're overstimulating and chaotic. It's like designing for the one thing that we'd rather avoid. But hey, yeah, at least it makes you easy to spot and avoid if you can see it coming. Poo tier. When eye contact is forced onto you your whole life, so you start staring at people when talking and eventually they have to look away. Look at me, I'm the neurotypical now. That's utterly brilliant. And the one thing about eye contact is that it's entirely cultural and context-based. And my dad stares at people that he's talking to. It can feel really awkward. I'm really sorry, Dad, if you're watching this. But the thing is, the level of eye contact that the West prescribes is totally different from the East. I'm half Malaysian, half English. And in the East, you don't make Western levels of eye contact with people. It's seen as threatening, especially towards people who are senior to you, like elders, there's people that are older, or authority figures. If you walk around looking people in the eye in the street, you're going to be sending out some very bad eye contact signals that might even start a street fight. It's that bad. Although proportional eye contact is not part of the autism diagnostic criteria, it is often used as a simple metric, like a ruler. Oh, you don't match that, so therefore no, or yes, there must be autism, or not. It's strange and it's not scientific. And many people in my community have been told that they can't possibly be autistic because they can make eye contact. It's such a meme that I'm glad that it is, at least now, a literal meme. The whole eye contact thing has a Western cultural bias to it. Just like it does if you're young, male, middle class and white, like the majority of the children in Asperger's Vienna Clinic, and later Leo Kanner's were. And yet, autistic people are everywhere in all cultures and communities around the world, just getting by. This is why we're seeing an increase in diagnoses. It's those later identified because of their age, gender, ethnicity, country and culture. Moving on, our first celebrity guest is joining our Tuesday live stream this week. There's a link in the description below for how to join in. I'll be giving away this hardback book on Tuesday too. And if you'd like to support my work, please take a look at my Patreon link in the description, with tiers from just $4 a month, which includes after-party live streams, access to the channel's Scratching Post Discord community, and my notes and mind maps from time to time. The Cat tier gets an exclusive deep dive video, and Tiger tier gets everything, including Tiger exclusive content. Your name first in the credits, an exclusive name colour, bloopers, extra clips in my videos too, and more. Take care, and I'll see all of you soon. Bye!